a rainy day. A lot has happened in 10 years. I'm definitely a different person now. By God's grace. I often tell people, like, I didn't ask for this, but I did sign up for it. As far as I know, my husband is still in Dubai, still with a reprobate mind, still in the affair. God has been bringing me through a very intense season of fasting and praying to remove the generational curses, the principalities, all the things, consecrating myself, doing my own repentance, so that I can be whole and pray for his healing and freedom. And it's been a very surprising and also like peace-filled journey to do that. There's a lot of surrender, a lot of forgiveness, a lot of just release. Like, you really have to lay your own will down in order to genuinely ask God for his will to be done. And then, he has to use you as that instrument to bring his will from heaven to earth. So I've had some amazing resources and teachers and coaches that I've been following who they have had breakthrough in their dead marriages, basically. And I did want to share those because with these mainly 3 teachings and coaches I've been following, like, God has been just leading me down this path of personal breakthrough and miracles and healing in my own life and my own soul. Actually, and there's another resource I'm using too, but less related to the marriage, more related to the human spirit. So the first one is Lorna Vaughn's Tongue of Fire Ministries. This woman is very intense, and she uses the Bible to explain exactly what biblical grounds we do have for divorce. I definitely suggest watching all of her videos. She has teachings on Jezebel and Leviathan and how you can get stuck in this toxic cycle, and how to get free from it. So I've been doing the prayers that she has a wonderful community with, I think, thousands of people in it by now. And she has this Anointed for War prayer. It's like a PDF. It's not even a book. And I was doing that every day. There's 50 of them. I think I'm on like close to 20 now. And it's really powerful because it helps you to identify where you've been kind of idolizing the other person, idolizing the marriage, and help you repent for that and make sure that, like, Jesus is your first king. And, she doesn't excuse the other person's actions and behavior, but she does explain that your husband is not the enemy, that, like, Satan is the real enemy. And because God has brought me through this, like, divine separation and kind of protected my daughter and I so that we could do this, like, I can just kind of see the pattern of it's almost like there's a formula, like, get out of the toxic or abusive, even betrayal is abuse, neglect is abuse situation, get your healing, which is what God has been doing with me, helping me to identify my enemy, heal from the warfare that I was in for the last how many years, and then do your own repentance before God. See your own toxic patterns. Pray for your husband to be restored. Pray to see him as God sees him, blah, blah, blah. So that's one ongoing thing. Definitely recommend watching her content. She's very maybe it's because I watch her on 1.5 speed, but she's very intense and convicting and clear. She's just like super clear, no nonsense type of person. And I will have a coaching call with her, but it hasn't happened yet. But I'm very grateful for that ministry, because she helps you to kind of also cut through the nonsense and the lies on other platforms that like divorce is the only way out in situations of betrayal and narcissism and blah, blah, blah. Because God has been leading me through this. Like, obviously, God sees that divorce is not the only way out of this. And God has promised redemption and restoration. It's a very painful process that I have to go through in order to secure my husband's basically freedom from his demons. I have to partner with God to intercede for him, because we are one flesh. So it's kind of a superpower when you're married. You are the Ezer Kenegdo women. Wives, you are the Ezer Kenegdo. So you have the authority to pray for your husband's freedom. And that's just how God created wives, as warrior wives. So fully embracing that, working toward that. I believe it's pretty clear God's already given me the victory now. It's just a matter of time. And yeah, I continue to stay mostly out of contact unless it's logistically necessary, because God needs to do his work in my husband. The other amazing ministry is Tequila Coleman's God Ordained Marriages and Rebuilding the Broken Walls. This, I think she kind of has a couple of names for it, but she's lovely, incredible. I've had several calls with her, and her expertise is about bringing the prodigal home. And it's the same. It's repentance. It's fasting. It's praying God. Like this week, there's almost like a formula to it. It's like, you need to repent. You need to decree the words that God has spoken over you, over the marriage, which I have a huge Word document of all the prophetic words that we've both received since we moved to Dubai. It must be at least 20 pages long. Incredible words, which I was always very keen to pray for, which is kind of my job. I mean, as the warrior wife, right? I mean, that's just like, it was already inherent as a person who was very excited about the prophetic, and I'm a very visionary person, and I'm all about purpose, and my husband didn't have any of those qualities. Some because he's not created that way, but some also because he we just have different baselines. I didn't have the same upbringing or faithlessness. I didn't have the same generational curses. I didn't have, a lot of the barriers and obstacles and traumas and choices in life that he did. But I am equipped to basically defend the marriage spiritually. And so that prodigal spouse, she has an incredible resource explaining like where you are in the stages. This happens first. This is what God is doing in them. This is what God is doing in you. God is going to bring them through this process. Even if there's a counterfeit, meaning the affair partner even if there's a counterfeit, like don't get distracted or derailed. It's just the enemy. Those are just kind of like giants in the promised land that you just gotta like you need to see. And this is another thing Lorna says, you need to see with 2 spies' eyes instead of the 10 spies, because the 2 spies, Caleb and Joshua, were like, oh, they've lost their protection, we got this. And the other 10 spies were like, we can't go there, there's giants. And then the other ministry that I'm going to be meeting with them this weekend is Before the Vows. And it's a couple who, the woman, they have children. The woman was standing for the marriage while her husband was actively betraying her in his addictions. I think he was also before that like a pastor and stuff like this. And so they're sharing their story vulnerably, and they also give free coaching calls. So highly recommend them. I love their channel and their content. It's just very transparent, and this is what we need, right? We need more stories, we need more testimonies, we need more people who have surrendered to God's will instead of, well, this is too painful and I don't see a way out, so I'm just going to quit, which is literally where I got to in December, January, because my husband had no will. He started with a will to try and work through, and then he just kind of gave up and just like, and so I thought, well, you're using your free will to choose this and I can't choose for you. When actually it's more nuanced than that. Like, God intervened in Saul's path when he was on the way to Damascus to find more. He was going to kill more Christians. And God was like, no, you are my chosen instrument. I'm going to strike you blind for 3 days, and scales are going to fall off your eyes, because that's Leviathan pride. And then you are going to be so repentant and in love with me that you're going to do my will. So that's literally what I'm praying for, is for my husband to just have like this eye-opening spiritual awakening that, this whole time God has been pursuing him, loving him, showing him, but he's running away like a Jonah, or, there's so many, like a prodigal. There's lots of examples in the Bible. And then the other one that I did recently, I did a coaching call with Bride Ministries. They're the people, I've been to their deliverance course in Katy, Texas. And I mean, this is sci-fi stuff. So like most people aren't going to know or understand or believe what I'm talking about, but we have human spirits. I said that wrong. You see, we are spirits. God created us as spirits. We have a soul and a body, but we are spirits. So, I know this, but anyway, I had like a session with them where we allowed Jesus to minister to my human spirit. And we also, like, I could also see my husband's spirit, because we are one. And I could also see the state. I knew already, because God had told me last year during this reconciliation process, that his spirit is in a region of captivity. So I already knew that. But I didn't know what to do with it or how to pray for, But now with this revelation of we are still one flesh, even though we're separated, for both of our restoration and healing and growth, we're still one flesh. So I still have spiritual authority to pray, not even just for him, but as him, because we are one. So yeah, it's been an incredible spiritual experience, and I'm very much into the spiritual stuff in ways that most people can't relate or agree with, and that's okay. But that's what's going to get the results. That kind of faith, that kind of boldness, that kind of like living out the word in a very literal way. And this is not figurative or metaphorical. It's like, no, I'm putting my trust and faith in what the word says and what God promises and what he's shown me. I mean, I've been having insane dreams showing me what spirits to pray against. What, yeah, basically a lot of demonic things, demons trying to take me hostage. And so, like, and in them, there's symbolism, there's things that, like, when I search for my dream interpretation, I put in Google, let's say red shoes, for example. That's not one of it, but anyway, red shoes, biblical dream, symbolic meaning, whatever. And or there's other things. There's certain animals, there's other disturbing things, but like when, like, there's a biblical significance that's different from, like, if you just look up a dream symbol. And you want the accurate, precise thing, because God is giving you clues of what he's trying to do in your life and what obstacles are in your way. And, like, I've always been a vivid dreamer, but it wasn't until recently, like in the last few years, I've started writing every single dream down. I see the patterns. I see, like, that's how God showed me about Leviathan. I saw one time last year while we were reconciling an alligator eating a turtle. So that showed me that the turtle represents hiding. And there's been words about my husband kind of being in a shell and stuff like this anyway, so it's consistent. Spirit of hiding being swallowed by spirit of pride. So the main there's so many layers, and I already made a video about that, about him being shattered. There's so many layers to the spirits, fragmentation, the brokenness, the the state of his soul. But what God was showing me, and I had multiple dreams about Leviathan, is that this principality is like the formidable one, and there's only one person who can dismantle Leviathan, and it's God. It's Jesus. So that's the process that's on now. And I just kind of have this, like, maybe I'll eat my words one day, but I just kind of have this sense that the victory is already being won. And, God told me to wait until December. I'm going to wait until December to do any proceedings on the divorce, unless God says something else. But as of right now, like, I'm not even, I just have a lot of peace. God is helping me to, figure out how to, I think this is why he isolated me, right? Like, the word is specifically about isolation. Isolate me to protect me from Leviathan, while also equipping me to healing and equipping me to, like, lay down my defenses in my survival mode that I was in for so long, and also my need to control. And usually it was out of a place of, like, well, God said this, so we need to do this. Like, protecting God's purposes, like, he needs me to do that for him. And protecting my my desires and my purpose, out of like fear, right? So he's also healing that, so that when I am in a new marriage, because we'll both be new people by that point, then I won't be bringing in those same patterns again. This is my hope-filled expectation, right? Like, that's where my understanding is at this point. But, like, I have to encourage my friends who have also dealt with, like, not just difficult marriages, but demonized marriages, like demonized husbands. I feel you. I hear you. God's ways are higher than our ways, and this is the process he's brought me on. It's been grace-filled. Again, really hard, because I had to leave my home, my friends. But, like, my daughter has received so much love here more than she was getting in our home when we were with my husband, because he just wasn't in a state. He was obviously full-time affair, full-time job. Whatever we got was breadcrumbs. And here, she gets homeschooled and time with auntie and uncle and, her cousin who's, 6, 7 years older than her, they're besties. She always says, like, can Eva come with us here? She's my best friend. Like, it's really sweet. She's getting a lot more love and attention here than she could have in that situation, even if we were reconciling. And she really needs her dad whole. So the separation has been painful. It's also really painful, you guys. I'm not going to lie. Putting down your way of doing things or your preferences, like, I was trying to protect myself by divorcing, obviously, protect my daughter, because I didn't see any way out of this crazy man's mind. Like, he's shut down. He doesn't feel, think. He doesn't, like, he's in denial. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm in an impossible situation. God's like, cool, I specialize in impossible, so I'll take it from here. And yeah, I would say that when you get married, you're kind of signing over, it's a funeral, it's a death sentence in a sense, because we all, I don't know, like, we all think that getting married is the ultimate achievement, or it's beautiful, it's exciting, and it is for a little while. Even if you're a Christian, it's like, you're like, yeah, I'm doing this for God. Like, I knew, like, I felt, but of course, like, I'm gonna make a scene, like, one day I'm gonna film this, but it's like, you guys are both saying yes to each other's demons. When and when you get close to fulfilling your purpose, and things get too hot, as in, like, things are heating up because you're really doing the will of the Lord, and you're changing and you're growing, like, the lightness is, like, the darkness is offended by the light. like that can, like, if like, it just, I don't know how else to explain, like, it turns the temperature up in the room when you are on fire for God. And your spouse probably is not going to be on the same page as you. And there's multiple reasons for that. They're not going to respond the way that you think they should, because God created them differently. But also, they're not going to respond that way because the enemy is probably digging in his heels and his claws to make whatever God is doing in your life to hinder it. So, yeah, I don't think our husbands are the enemy. I do think that they can be abusive in many ways. We can also be abusive in our words and our disdain and our, and how we react to their lack of whatever they're, not doing, their neglect, their betrayal. Unfortunately, that's normal. It's normal, but like, God can disrupt all of that, but he needs your participation. He needs you to, it's so easy to just reject them because of how they made us feel, because we think that's a reflection of our worth. I get it. Even on my best day, when I'm consciously like, no, Lord, like, I know my identity, like, blah, 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 blah. Then you're like, well, because I know my identity and my worth, like, I'm not putting up with this. Like, no, like, but you know what? You can speak that to the enemy. But, until you see, if you're still seeing your husband as the enemy, like, God can't use you to help redeem your husband, which is, like, literally your primary job that you signed up for when you got married. You signed up to be his Ezer Kenegdo. And you should definitely watch the teachings on that, because it's empowering. It's exciting, and you go from fighting for something to fighting from victory, right? So it's like God is pretty much guaranteed the victory, but it's going to require a lot of your surrender and your participation. Is it fair? Doesn't feel fair right now. Does not feel fair that I've been the only one with my head on straight. There's a spiritual arrogance for the last how many years? At least 2 solid years that this situation has been going on. And it's not fair. It's not fair because God is, you have the God of grace and mercy, the Lord of armies. It's an unfair fight, and you're on the winning side. So it's also not fair in that sense. It's not a fair fight, and in double meaning. So I do want to encourage some of my friends who are going through a similar situation. You have been faithful. You have been, if you're still in it, I know you are, you're trying to be faithful to God. And sometimes being faithful to God leads you to separate. Sometimes being faithful to God leads you to get out of the fog and the smoke and mirrors. Okay. And let God heal you with deliverance and healing. I have so many resources, you guys. I'm going to do a whole video just on that. From the fog of war. That, God knew that was going to happen. He didn't ask you to stay in it. So I guess what I'm saying is, before things can get better, they have to break down completely. They have to break down completely. You have to break down completely. It's painful. A lot of people don't want to face the pain of being broken down completely. People don't want to face the pain of surrendering your will, but God this, but God this. You know what? If you just tell him, or talk to someone like me who gets it, you can get through it. If you have a support system, you can get through it. God has given me a support system. He's given me coaches. He's given me the teachings that go right back to the word, that help me live the word and understand the word. He's given me his voice to be able to confirm everything that I'm experiencing and lead me through this gnarly, nasty hell that I've been living in the last few years. And it's I don't know what else to say other than it's a grace-filled process. It's not fair, but he gives you everything to overcome it. And then by the other side of it, you're going to have a ministry. You're going to have testimony in your marriage. You're going to have kids who actually enjoy their dad and are not afraid or broken by their dad. So there's so many benefits of walking through the process. It's just hard to get started. I'm in the middle of it. Why? Because why would I share when I'm in the middle of it? Because I only see all the teachers I see, all the coaches I see, they're all teaching after they've been through it, after they've won, after they've got the testimony and they've got the learnings and they've got the teachings. But I feel like there's something powerful about chronicling. It's the vulnerability of chronicling your thoughts, your pains, your fears, your hopes, what you're learning as you're learning, the discomforts. I think all of that is very valuable because I don't know, God made me to be a performance artist, and that includes being vulnerable. Last week, the main feedback I got on my song was not, you're a great singer. I was pitchy, whatever. Not, that's an amazing song you created. It was, thank you for your vulnerability. I think vulnerability touches people in a different way, in a deeper way, you know? Pain speaks to pain. Pain touches pain. It's been a really great week spiritually. It's also been heavy, tiring. You know, my daughter's been sick, so she's been up at all nights coughing, not sleeping well. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not in this place where I was like confused, afraid, tired, you know. You're still in the fog of war if you're still feeling like, what's going on with this man? Why is he like this? He's doing this. Yeah, you need to step away probably. And it's so hard to put your finger on certain types of abuse sometimes. But I can guarantee you that this separation, you know, they say like, oh, no contact is so good for your marriage. This is a different type of no contact. This is a divine separation. God might be inviting you into a divine separation, and that even you can be living apart and you can still be married. I'm talking about like, full separation, because like God needs to bring you fully unto him. He needs to, you know, cleanse you. You've been wearing tattered garments. He needs to give you a new garment. He needs to put the armor on you, you know. It's absolutely necessary. Like, I can guarantee you victory would not be possible if I was still living with my husband. If I was still, you know, trying to help him on his journey that he didn't want help with, because he doesn't actually want Jesus. But though he really needs, but, you know, those are all signs like you need to probably start praying and asking God, like, I need a miracle, and he might lead you through a divine separation so that he can do the miracle in you first. You're the willing one, you know? And and he's going to do the miracle and deal with your husband. You're going to get justice. You're going to get better than fair, right? Because of the sacrifice that you've been making for many years, and that you will continue to make. You will get better than justice, because the enemy has to pay back sevenfold. These are biblical laws. We're just enforcing biblical laws. And I know it's surprising and alarming and all of these. It's disappointing, you know, how marriages turn out, because we don't fully understand marriage when we get into it. But if you study and apply the word to your life, to your marriage, it's going to be supernatural. It's going to be overcoming. It's going to be, you know, you'll have so much more to give, to love, to your community, to the nations, right? So, like, that's the vision, and that's the promise. It's not just the vision, it's the promise. Like, yeah. So I'm going to link to all of these amazing ministries, because like, even if like I'm wrong and I didn't hear God right, and you know, everything dissolves and I divorce and remarry someone else. Okay. I don't think that's going to happen, so I'm not putting my faith in that. But like, I feel so much peace right now. It's been hard, you know, it's painful to like do all this inner healing work and stuff like that, but like, the amount of peace I have right now is supernatural. That's enough for me to tell me that I'm on God's path. Like, I fully trust him, because, you know, even though I haven't like tasted the promised land yet. Like, he's been telling me what it looks like and showing me pictures, and he's been speaking to me about it for, 8 years. We just had to take some detours to get there. I went back, I found only one prophetic word that alluded to this season. And the word said, even as changes come externally, God is in control. He is going to rewire things and bring them back together. That's the only word out of many, many pages of prophetic words in the last 8 years that even alluded to this season. So it's like, he didn't speak to me about this season, until but he prepared me for it the whole time. He equipped me. He broke off my depression, my anxiety, my idolatry. Like, he was already doing that, preparing. He built me up as an intercessor. He made me a mom, which, that just changes your whole wiring for compassion and love and all this. And I can see how my 3-year-old has a very different childhood than when he was 3 years old. So it just opens up your eyes and your heart. But at the same time, there are going to be times when God's like, no, don't pray for him right now. He's an abomination. He is fully, like, right now I need you to stop. Like, that has happened. He has shown me different times when I just need to stop. And there is going to be a time where I've done all the work and I'm going to rest from the warfare and from the prayers. And I'm going to be focused on myself and my career and my the work that God has called me to do. There's seasons, right? But you got to listen to him. And you can't hear him when you're in the fog of war. Anyway, it's a powerful time, and I'm very grateful for the journey. And yeah, it's good. It's going to be okay. It's going to be more than okay. You just might have to take a different path to get there.